silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Need y'all to take a ride with me. I'm just a kid from Fall River, what I know. Riding through my city that they're gentrifying, market rate housing while there's homeless dying. And I know that they're trying cause this program's out there, but I ain't reaching out there, they ain't reaching out there. Empty storefronts, internet to blame, gotta move different if nothing is the same. Entertainment venues, bringing nightlife, transparent police, body cams that's live, I mean live stream they whole shift. Personal info can censor it. Even though when involving police it becomes public info, but that's a different topic for a different tempo. Back to my city that they're gentrifying, panhandlers on the Ave and the addicts dying, parents crying, losing kids, half my generation that are doing bids. So how are we gonna get to the youth, teach them right and wrong when not to shoot? Started young in kindergarten, mental health class, your brain's a garden. Teach them all about their feelings. The senior year, let's start the healing. Since tech's here to stay, let's teach with VR, less bills that way. But what do I know? What can I say? I'm just a kid from Fall River. It's just my observations, chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. It's all nighter. All-nighter. Street magic. Chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Need y'all to take a ride with me. I'm just a kid from Fall River, what I know. Riding through my city that they're gentrifying, market rate housing while there's homeless dying. And I know that they're trying cause this program's out there, but I ain't reaching out there, they ain't reaching out there. Empty storefronts, internet to blame, gotta move different if nothing is the same. Entertainment venues, bringing nightlife, transparent police, body cams that's live, I mean live stream they whole shift. Personal info can censor it. Even though when involving police it becomes public info, but that's a different topic for a different tempo. Back to my city that they're gentrifying, panhandlers on the Ave and the addicts dying, parents crying, losing kids, half my generation that are doing bids. So how are we gonna get to the youth, teach them right and wrong when not to shoot? Started young in kindergarten, mental health class, your brain's a garden. Teach them all about their feelings. The senior year, let's start the healing. Since tech's here to stay, let's teach with VR, less bills that way. But what do I know? What can I say? I'm just a kid from Fall River. It's just my observations, chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. It's all nighter. All-nighter. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Aaron All-Nighter. This is the Forever Experience, episode 12. Make sure you share this out to your news feed. Share this to groups, tag people in the post, tag people in the comment section. Send this out to like-minded individuals in Messenger. It is highly appreciated. Also, if you're an admin or moderator of a group, share this to your group. Put at everyone. It'll tag everyone in your group. It is highly appreciated. Also, we are streaming live on 3 different destinations, 2 different platforms, YouTube and Facebook. So we are on Street Magic Multimedia YouTube, the Forever Experience Facebook page, and Aaron All-Nighter Facebook profile. So follow, subscribe, turn on notifications, and all of that goodness. It is highly appreciated. Thank you. Now, all that being said, The last thing I'm saying is put @followers @highlight in the comment section. It gets us out to all your people. It's really appreciated. Now, for everybody who knows, start each and every episode with the weather. That way, if you ain't been outside yet today, you know how to dress for the day. And thank God it's Friday. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
Gladly. It's not necessarily that scary, but yeah, you want to keep your distance.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a wild animal. You never know what's going to happen,
Never
right?
know. All right, we got a few people, actually a good amount of people down at Narragansett Town Beach this morning.
I think it's going to be a good beach day.
Yeah.
I think they're all antsy to get to the beach because the past couple of days have been anything but good beach weather.
Yeah.
We're going to have nice beach weather all weekend long, including today. Finally got rid of the fog there in North Scituate. It was pretty murky most of the morning. Now we've got blue skies, 65 degrees. Blue skies in New Bedford as well. We're at 68. Three key things for you to know about today. It's going to be brighter and drier for today. There's still, though, the chance of a brief shower or a thunderstorm in the afternoon, but much of the day is fine. The weekend, that looks fine as well. So we're still tracking this weather system, this area of low pressure sitting off to our east. It brought us all the rain over the past couple of days as it meandered around southern New England. It's beginning to pull away, but we're still kind of under the influence of its circulation. And as a result, we're going to be finding a couple of showers popping up, maybe a brief thunderstorm, and I'm thinking the timing's like 3 to 7 p.m. and those showers melt away. We're looking at a nice Saturday. We're no longer under the influence of that area of low pressure. We'll have some mid-level clouds coming on by tomorrow. I think we're dry right into Sunday morning and right through Sunday afternoon. We're looking fine all weekend long. Forecast for today, blend of sunshine and clouds. There could be a brief shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. I think the best chance of that's probably central and northern Rhode Island. Temperatures here in Foster, Greenville, Providence, Central Falls, Pawtucket, Woonsocket, all upper 70s to lower 80s. Right along the coastline with a developing southwesterly wind, a little bit cooler today, mid to upper 70s. I think there's a less of a chance of you seeing a shower. Fall River, New Bedford, you might catch a shower, but I think the best chance is farther north of you. For the beaches today, we're looking at temperatures topping out in the upper 70s. Even at the beach, that's just a slight chance of a quick late day shower, but much of the day is dry. Safe sun time today, about 25 minutes. Rip current risk is low. Out on the bay borders, really nice day. Water's like glass right now. We'll see the winds becoming more southwest at 5 knots. Waves small. Visibility, for the most part, fine. But if there are any showers that move over the bay, obviously, they could be reduced. And there's a slight chance of a thunderstorm. High tide coming up 9:39 this morning. Now, for tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. I think it'll be dry with overnight lows in the upper 60s to around 70. Tomorrow looks good. Sunshine, few clouds, especially in the afternoon. I think we're dry. 82 in Westerly, 84 Providence, Fall River, and New Bedford tomorrow, topping out in the low 80s. It's a little muggy tomorrow. It'll be muggy throughout the entire weekend, but it looks dry. And that's good news for the feast there in New Bedford. Now, this evening there could be a quick shower early on in the evening, but the rest of the night looks to be fine there in New Bedford for the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. Saturday, Sunday looking good, low 80s in the afternoon, and I think we're dry right through Sunday evening. Here's your 7-day forecast. After that, we're looking at the chance for a shower on.
All right, so a brief shower tonight, and then the rest of the weekend is great, 80s, and next rain is Monday, but we'll get to that on Monday. All right, it's the weekend. Now, residents on North Main Street have been complaining of noise and smell from the MBTA layover site. This was addressed at the recent public safety meeting. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
3 resolution convened with representatives from the MBTA, the City of Fall River, and other interested parties to discuss safety and noise concerns around the commuter rail. This was tabled on 4/7 of 26. All interested parties, Mayor's office.
Mr. Chair, do we have a representative from the MBTA?
I did receive
No.
email correspondence from them stating that they had nothing that was of new importance from the last time they had come down, so they were not coming to this meeting.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir. I yield.
Thank you. Mrs. O'Neill, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. So I know we have entertained this and we have received emails recently, complaints once again about the trains in the North Main Street area. One of the specific emails was, it pertained to idling times, roughly 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. They sit there, which I completely understand. Have you heard anything back in the mayor's office regarding a plan? I know they had one in place for noise mitigation. Have we had any current updates to that?
I mean, I know the last email that we received with a complaint, it was from a resident who had received multiple notifications that they qualified for the hazard mitigation program, but didn't take advantage of it. So the state was going to work with them in that regard to see that they could try to assist them. When we receive complaints regarding the MBTA, I mean, we send them to the state representative in that district, in addition to the individuals from Keolis and from to Gene Fox. They've always been very responsive to us to handle the concerns that neighbors have. So we work with them to try to resolve everything that we can that neighbors bring forward to us.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Canuel?
Thank you. In the last week, I've had a resident reach out about a horrible sewer smell up near the Weaver's Cove layover station of the North Main. Really, that he said it was the whole Steep Brook area of North Main, and so I don't know if it's related. He did wanted me to connect with potentially Keolis or whoever. He thinks it's related to the train somehow. So I did want to bring that up as well to be potentially.
Was that sent to the mayor's office as well, or just yourself?
This one was an online one, so it hasn't been sent yet. I did
Okay.
just connected with him, I think, over the weekend. I said bring it to this meeting.
I mean, I would refer that to
Okay.
Mr. Furlan as well, so that he could have his maintenance crew check in that area to see if there were any issues. I know that there was a water main break in that area. I don't know, I'll have to defer to Paul if it went down that far. I know it was up in the area of the Rotary on North Main Street. I don't believe that it went down as far. But I mean, if there's an issue, yeah, we'll absolutely look into it.
Okay, so I will get that sent over and let you guys pursue it.
Absolutely.
You all set, Council?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
The question I have is, and I've noticed with some of the issues in the city, it's about the advertising or marketing to the neighbors. And I understand that they were sent letters or emails regarding this program.
Mhm.
Is there any way to reach out to the MBTA representative and see if we could have a sit down once again to explain the program, what they offer, and how they're to contact?
I mean, I certainly can check with Gene Fox, but I know a lot of those things had a time frame to them where people had the opportunity to take advantage of it. I don't know if those things are still available. I wasn't aware that there wouldn't be somebody from the MBTA here today to be able to answer the questions, but we can look and see. For some reason, I believe there was a deadline in which people could apply, and that there would be exceptions. I mean, of course, if someone never got the notifications and things.
Okay, because I can tell you, not pertaining to this situation, but another constituent complaint was the gentleman was emailing me, but email was new to him. It was an elderly gentleman in his early 80s. So my concern is the people down there that may fit into that category as well, where they're not really email friendly or social media friendly. How can we go there and let them know that this exists so they don't have to suffer through this, the noise and the early morning wake ups and whatnot?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Anything further on the topic?
I got nothing.
Thank you very much.
We'll do a motion to table this.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Motion to table for further discussion.
Second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
No nays.
All right, so smells down there like sewage. They're idling the trains at about 4:30 in the morning, and people are complaining. There is housing mitigation programs, which kind of sounds like they'll pay you to move if you don't like it. But Should you have to? And should it be smelling like that? Is the train emptying out their toilets at their layover facility off North Main? I believe we should look into that. As for the noise, well, you live in a city and you live next to a train layover station. You had the ability, with all the abutters getting notified, to state your piece and nip this in the bud before it happened. However, you didn't. So now, well, you deal with the consequences. You didn't go to the meetings and speak up and say, hey, don't want this train here. And you expected the few that did to stop it. Well, it didn't. Now, we're going to hear from a firefighter in Fall River who is telling us how inadequate our equipment and our staffing levels are. And also states how the north end, especially the Duval Street corridor, is a nightmare if a fire was to break out. Check this out. We'll talk about it.
1198 Meridian Street, subject 1710 GIS study. Good afternoon, Mr. O'Regan.
How you doing? Back again. So we've had some discussions in the past about the staffing, minimum staffing. And so we had a fire on Hick Street the other day, and I think it's one of the perfect examples of what a 1710 standard does, even though the city has not kept up with their agreement on boosting up our manpower. There hasn't been any movement towards completing that agreement. The extra manpower we did have did make an appreciable difference in that fire, where we stopped that fire, where normally I would say 2, 3, 4 years ago, it would have been probably a different outcome. Now, we did our own GIS study. Now, the GIS study takes into account the hazards, the population, the square miles, and whether or not the city is safe. And so the city of Fall River had a study, and they spent, I don't know, probably $75,000. The union, we had the study, and it cost us nothing. And the outcome of those studies shows, and I believe that the city study actually was more favorable for the fire department than our union study, saying that we are not safe. There are significant gaps in the city where there's no coverage whatsoever. And I know we talk about New Bedford and how New Bedford's mayor's gutting them and creating some serious public safety issues. We're on the cusp of doing that again. And I know we're talking about budgets and stuff, but like I said, public safety should not be a line item. It should be funded first, not last. And these studies show that. And I'll have we're doing a comparable study on both of those and the differences between them and where we need that work. So that's in the progress now, and you guys are all going to get that the next meeting, I hope. But it shows that we do need to replace those pumps that we lost, and we do need to add a ladder truck. If we're developing the entire waterfront, the numbers was 5,800 people within an eighth of a mile area, and it's already it's a nightmare. We don't have the ability with manpower or trucks to respond to anything like that. And I made the point that about a month ago, we were down to one actual functioning ladder truck in this city. And if Gabriel House had happened during that time period, it would have been far different. We have pumps that break down on a regular. If they would have broken down at a fire like sometimes they do, the outcome of that wouldn't have been 10. It would have been double or triple that. And so here I am again to say that we do need to prioritize this stuff, and we need to get reliable trucks, and we do need to get that manpower so we can fill in those gaps, because there is no tomorrow for some people. For someone that dies at a fire, there is no tomorrow, or they lose all of their belongings. We have to be there when we're called, and all the manpower in the world doesn't matter if we don't have trucks to drive in. We've been underfunded, understaffed, and overwhelmed for a long time. And I think that this latest incident has shown just how bad it could get, and it could have got worse, and it can get worse.
40 seconds left.
I'm good. Any questions?
Actually, I do. Thank you, Mr. O'Regan. Do you know how many spare pieces we have as frontline pieces right now? Operating as frontline pieces?
We may be using both of them now. Yeah, we got engine 11 and engine 5, and 26 might be in use. I know engine 5 is at the Globe, and that's got a blown engine, so we're just using that until it fails.
Thank you. Okay. And describe the gaps in coverage. When you say gaps, what do you mean by gaps in coverage?
So if you look at the south end of the city, it's how many pieces of apparatus can be on scene within 5 minutes. And because you have one truck in the Globe and everybody else is up on Plymouth Avenue, and then the next station after that is either the Flint or the Center, that gap that's there down toward the bottom of New Hall Street, where we do get fires, and we just had a drowning down there. Those areas where those apparatus and that manpower can get there within 5 minutes, it doesn't fall. It doesn't pass. And you got places out in the reservation, you got places in the north end as well.
I'm dealing with a place in Tiverton, so that would be
And we've had
similar,
fires
Saudi
out there
Pond
before
Road
too,
and
yeah.
whatnot. All right. And lastly, you had brought up the Route 79 development and the increase in population there. I have had discussions with the mayor's office about a developer-built fire station. I don't know where that sits now, that the state, I guess, announced that they are solely in control of the project. That's another conversation I'm going to have with the mayor. But I don't know if there's entertainment from or appetite from my fellow councilors, maybe send a letter from the Public Safety Committee to the mayor's office just to keep that. We'll put it in writing and make sure that we entertain it now. Motion for that, Councilor?
I actually have one, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, then we can wait. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll wait to acknowledge you, which I'll do now. I appreciate you, Mr. O'Regan. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Councilor.
So I would like an update on the current status of apparatus. I know one I saw, I think it was online yesterday, the day before, that the new one is all pretty and ready to get shipped here, if that's correct. Is that ladder 9?
I believe it's still a month or two out.
Okay. So what I would like to know is what the status is on current ordering of apparatus and what the game plan is. I know the capital improvement plan was put out, but I would like to get a status update on what that is. So I think I'll make a motion at this point to send a letter to the administration, the fire chief, for an update on apparatus ordering and status, where they're at. And then secondly, any plans on any sort of fire protection when it comes to the development of Route 79 and what that status is as well. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Do I have a
No.
second?
I'll second that.
Yeah. Get the
I
first
know
and second.
we just had the training division went over there, went to Taunton, because Taunton just built a new public safety complex for the replacement of the Stanley Street Station, which is 100 and however many years old. He did that feasibility study, and the chief may want to see what the feasibility is to do one on 79. It's sorely needed. We can't get down there now. If we have a call, we have to go down anywhere on the Wall Street, especially at certain times of the day. It's impossible. It's a 2-lane road. If you're going to put that many houses, housing, shops, and whatnot, it's a disaster waiting to happen.
I agree. It's been at the forefront of a lot of my questions that I've had with the administration was the 79 and the fire protection. So
And if I might add, as far as the trucks go, I believe the estimation on ladder trucks right now is 1,600 days. And that's from the time you order it to the time it comes in. The new ladder 4 has been plagued with delay. But even if you ordered every truck, 2 trucks every 2 years, by the time you get to the last truck in the fleet, the trucks at the beginning of the fleet are already starting to age out. So it has to be, we can't buy them in bulk like we did last time because they all age out at the same time. And these trucks that we got are horrible. I mean, I've said it before that we're the kings of low price lending. You know, I mean, we just low bidder everything. And if you buy quality trucks, you pay a quality price, but you get something that works.
Yeah, I think my point is too, is that we want to make sure there's a plan going forward that every year, you know, we're looking 10 years out. We're making sure that we know what trucks are aging out, what we need to order, or not kind of knee-jerking reaction to what we need to get taken care of in the long-term sense. So
Right. In the interim, we do need reliable spare trucks.
Mhm.
we have engine 26 that is, it probably shouldn't be on the road. I just had to address expired inspection stickers with it, and there are a lot of safety concerns, like the seats don't lock. So when you're driving, your seat slides back and forth, which if the city had its way, we would be on donkeys, for God's sakes. They're unsafe vehicles, but we do what we have to do with what we got. But it doesn't mean that something's not going to happen. A firefighter get hurt or killed because of these vehicles. They have standards and NFPA standards for a reason for truck safety. These trucks are not safe. Even some of the new ones. We need reliable spares so those trucks can get into the shops and be fixed. And that means we have to have funding. And that means that it has to be more of a I would say a priority put on the fire apparatus as opposed to ambulances, because it seems our shop is filled with ambulances 24/7, and the fire trucks don't even get routine maintenance inspections. I mean, most of these trucks were out of compliance and voided the warranties within the first 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, because we didn't do what we were supposed to do with those vehicles. So now you can't go back and complain about the trucks breaking down because we didn't take care of them properly. So there needs to be a systematic change from the city with the funding and the shops in order to get these vehicles to where they should be. We wouldn't tolerate a police car, with 3 tires and 1 light, but yet we'll tolerate a fire truck with no sirens and ladders that don't work. I'm at a loss for why that's acceptable.
Mr. Chair, if we could as well, can we add to that letter just an update on the turnover gear as well?
Yes, sir.
Because that was also a conversation we had some months ago, and I know there were some processes going on, but I'd like an update on that as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys' support on that too as well.
Yeah, of course.
Motion made.
Yeah, motion so made and seconded by Councilor Canuel. So it's to send the administration a letter as to a current update status on our apparatus, as ordering
And current status of what's been ordered and what the plan is going forward, an update on study of Route 79 and how the fire department plays a role in that, as well as an update on the current ordering of turnover gear and where that stands as of right now.
All right, thank you, Jeanette. One other thing, if we could add to that as well, is just I would like to see some type of communication between the administration and the state, showing that there was dialogue opened as far as putting a fire station on this piece of property. It is a very pertinent situation. We can't load that area with more residents and keep the same trucks, especially after what we're hearing today, and have the same response. It doesn't make sense. So if we can add that as well, I'd appreciate it.
So made.
Okay with you guys. Second on that as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. O'Regan, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So our fire trucks are horrible. We have issues with the seats in one fire truck not locking. So the seat rocks back and forth while they're speeding to a fire, which is not safe at all. But you also have fire trucks that the sirens don't work, the ladders don't work. And last time we bought new fire trucks, we bought them in bulk. We bought a bunch at the same time. So that means they all broke down around the same time. And according to that firefighter, it takes about 2 years from order date to delivery date on these fire trucks. And he suggests that we should be ordering a new fire truck every 2 years. That way we can always replenish our fleet. Also, concerns were brought up about the Duval Street corridor and all the development down there. And it was a suggestion from City Councilor Chris Peckham that was seconded by the board, consisting of Michael Canuel and Andrew Raposa, of sending a referral to full committee to try to push the mayor to get a developer built fire station. So in this bid, try to get, the developer who's getting this $1 billion bid on the waterfront to build all these buildings and restaurants and shops and apartments, to also build a fire station. And then we just operate. If it don't come out of our budget, great, because we do not have it in our budget. Now, check this out. We'll talk about it. Local man found not guilty on all charges after $430,000 stolen from licensed cannabis company's Courier in Swansea at gunpoint. There's the video right there. A local man has been found not guilty in federal court after being arrested for his alleged involvement in the armed robbery of a cash courier for licensed cannabis companies outside a bank in Swansea, Massachusetts in 2024. Elgin Mikhailov, former manager at a Fall River Cannabis Dispensary, Cosmopolitan, was charged in an updated indictment for allegedly providing information about cash pickups and couriers, assisting in planning the robbery and sharing in the proceeds, but was acquitted last month on all charges. In the case, Stephen Madison previously admitted guilt to charges including 1 count of robbery, 1 count of conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery, 1 count of brandishing a firearm during a violent crime, 1 count of felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition, and 1 count of possession with intent to distribute cocaine. In May 2024, Madison was arrested alongside Christopher White and Quentin McDonald in connection with the robbery. Mikhailov was later charged in an updated indictment. On February 19, 2024, Madison and an accomplice stole a rental van from a U-Haul location in Abington, Mass. Later that day, an armed courier transporting approximately $436,200 in cash for deposit arrived at Bay Coast Bank in Swansea. Madison and allegedly White followed in the U-Haul van. White reportedly exited wearing a camouflage vest, pointed a firearm at the courier, and zip-tied his hands. Madison then loaded the cash into the van, and the two allegedly attempted to disarm the courier, forced him into his car's back seat, pepper sprayed him, and shut the door. Surveillance footage captured the courier freeing one hand, drawing his weapon, and firing 4 shots at the fleeing U-Haul van before calling 911. Afterward, Madison and White allegedly drove to a nearby spot in Swansea where McDonald waited in an SUV, transferred the cash, burned the van, and escaped. A search of Madison's Bridgewater home uncovered a pistol and over 400 grams of cocaine. He has prior state convictions for mass armed robbery, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, and illegal firearm possession. Well, that'll hold you. And he got acquitted. So that tells me them having proof that he did it and still acquitting him, he is singing like a bird and testifying against the others. And we'll see that come out in the wash at trial when we hear about the others. He Tekashi 6ix9ine it. Now, moving along. Check this out. We'll talk about it. Fall River City Council approves $483 million budget after nearly 2-month standoff. After nearly 2-month standoff, the City Council voted 8-1 to approve the $483 million fiscal year 2027 budget on Tuesday. The passage came after City Council leadership and Mayor Paul Coogan's administration agreed on a pair of compromises involving city-funded school transportation and a line item that gives the council access to money to hire outside legal counsel. The city has been operating on a stopgap 1/12 budget since July 1st. For weeks, Coogan, the school department, and school committee have been at odds over how much the city should provide over school transportation. It resulted in the city council rejecting the mayor's budget twice. Not once, but twice it was rejected. Now, the school committee had voted for a $17.1 million appropriation, but Coogan presented a different number at $900,000 less, with the anticipation that the school redistricting would save on transportation. The debates revolving around the school transportation costs got so divisive, the council voted no confidence in Emily Arpka, Fall River's Director of Financial Services. But the issue was put to bed on Tuesday, with Coogan meeting the school department's transportation spending halfway and cut the appropriation down to $450,000 balance from the original $900,000 in cuts. It also came with a promise by the administration if there were a transportation shortfall, the administration would provide the needed funding. And the city council's demand to get funding to hire an outside attorney got ugly at times. Council Sean Kadim stating publicly he would continue to vote down Coogan's budget if the council did not get the $40,000 appropriation and have control over the money. Initially, Corporation Counsel Alan Rumsey opinion that it was not lawful for the city council to have a $40,000 line item to hire an outside attorney. After a number of meetings with City Council President Cliff Ponte and City Council Vice President Michelle Dion and members of the administration, the two sides entered into a memorandum of agreement. In the agreement, the City Council would get an annual appropriation of no less than $40,000 for outside legal advice, but the money would be in the Corporation Council's budget. In addition to passing the 2027 fiscal year budget on Tuesday in an 8-1 vote, they also approved the MOA in an 8-1 vote. City Councilor Chris Peckham was the lone no vote on both issues. And it's good that they got the $40,000 line item for outside counsel. However, I do not like that it is in Corporation Council's budget. Will it be used by Corporation Council? Will Corporation Council deny access to that because it's in their budget and not a specified line item? Did we just get okie doked? I don't know. What do you know? I'm just a kid from Fall River. Now, check this out. We'll talk about it. Florida police released preliminary information after collision with scooter and motor vehicle. Fall River crews responded to a crash Wednesday evening at approximately 6:45 p.m. Call came in for a motor vehicle accident in the area of County and Allsop streets where a man could be seen lying on the ground. According to Acting Chief J.T. Hall, the collision involved a male on a scooter and a motor vehicle. It appears the operator of the scooter suffered a medical condition. It's unknown at this time if the crash caused the medical condition or the medical condition contributed to the crash. Hall stated the accident recon was on scene at the time of that report. So hopefully everybody's good. Everything's great. And, everybody gets better fast. Now, here's some recent stats about voter registration here in Fall River, Massachusetts. And where do you align? Check this out. We'll talk about it. As of July 29, 2026, there are 63,788 registered voters in Fall River, per the elections office. This is the breakdown of voter registration by party affiliation. 44,089 unenrolled, 14,492 Democrats, 4,509 Republicans, and 698 other designations. So that's a graph of the stats to make it more visual. So most of the city that's registered to vote is unenrolled. They haven't picked a party. However, the ones that have picked a party, there's 3 times more Democrats than Republican voters in Fall River, Massachusetts. Now, are you unenrolled? Are you a Democrat? Are you Republican? Are you an independent? Are you libertarian? Are you Green Rainbow Party? Are you Tea Party? Are you any other party? Comment below. Now, moving along. Check this out. We'll talk about it. Appraisal finds Fall River's Pearl Street garage sale or repairs unlikely due to long-term lease. This is what the Pearl Street garage looks like inside. Request for proposal to sell off Pearl Street garage is expected to be released in August, but an appraisal on the property completed in March indicates it will be a hard sell given a long-term lease agreement with local developer James Karam. For years, different administrations have discussed the increasing dilapidation of both the Pearl Street and 3rd Street garages and how to pay for the renovations. In the last few years, due to safety concerns, the top decks have been shuttered at both Pearl Street and 3rd Street. Of the 374 parking spaces at Pearl Street, only 261 are usable. Structural engineers studied both structures and their reports indicated both were sorely in need of repair. There's been movement to repair the parking garages with the support of the City Council. Recently, a $6.5 million renovation project began at 3rd Street, with the City Council approving a bond to cover the cost. After Mayor Paul Coogan ordered an appraisal done on both garages, the likelihood of fixing Pearl Street went out the window. According to the 121-page appraisal, the garage is a critical asset to the downtown, but capital improvements and increase of fees are a must to maintain and enhance the facility's value and functionality. However, the long-term agreement with Karam, it's well below market rate monthly payments, and its option to potentially claim the entire parking garage until 2043. It would not make sense for the city to invest millions in repairs. Given the subject's role as critical downtown parking infrastructure, limited revenue generating capacity at prevailing municipal rates, and the importance of maintaining public access to parking, disposition to a private investor is considered unlikely, wrote appraisers from BBG Real Estate Services. Absent significant public funding, subsidies, or other financial support mechanisms, the renovation and continued operation of the garage would not be financially feasible on a purely market-driven basis. Per the agreement, Karam is currently paying $39.22 a space per month. The appraisers indicate in the report, after comparing fees charged in other communities similar to Fall River, the city should be charging $125 a month for a parking space. At $120 a fee, could potentially earn the city $533,000 annually. The appraisers also assessed the next 18 years of the below market fees Karam is paying, calculating that Karam takes the option to rent all of Pearl Street, which he has yet to excise. The city stands to lose about $3.3 million in that time frame. The appraisers concluded that the value of Pearl Street without repairs is $2.6 million, and with repairs, it's valued at $3.5 million. The estimated $3.5 to $6.5 million needed to repair the garage makes it hard to justify the city repairing the garage or someone buy it, as Karen would have rights to all the 374 spots. Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan declined to provide a comment for this article. Of course, he don't want to talk about it. But good old Karam, he got Fall River by the balls. The Pearl Street garage till 2036. And he's going to charge what he wants. And, you know, are we going to spend the money to fix it, considering we don't own it? Or we're not getting a profit from it? That doesn't really make sense to me. However, with the growth of downtown, we do need a parking garage. Now, I want to thank everybody who's tuned into the show so far. If you haven't yet, please share this out to your news feed. And also comment what platform you are watching on, YouTube or Facebook. And comment what destination you are watching from, Street Magic Multimedia YouTube or Facebook on the Fall River Experience or Aaron All-Nighter profile. Just curious. Now, moving along, check this out. We'll talk about it. Double dog homicide? If you know something, please call the police. 2 deceased dogs were found on the Fall River Westport line. If anyone has information, please contact Animal Patrol. And it says it looks like they appeared to be 2 husky type dogs. So, absolutely horrible. You know, I can't stand people that hurt animals like that. Shitbags. Moving along to something good. Check this out. We'll talk about it. Free food, games, giveaways, activities coming to Fall River's 9th annual Public Safety Palooza. Fall River Police Department, along with members of the community, have announced their 9th annual Palooza block party to celebrate public safety entities and community partnerships. Some of the festivities will include police, fire, and EMS vehicle displays, demonstrations, interactive safety exhibits, games, prizes, and giveaways, free snacks and refreshments, and meet and greets with first responders. The event offers opportunities for the public to interact with public safety organizations and their partners with activities for all ages. The Fall River Public Safety Palooza is taking place Tuesday, August 11th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Maplewood Park parking lot, weather permitting. Rain date to be announced at a later date. So if you guys are interested in the 9th annual Public Palooza, make sure you pull up to Maplewood on that date and, you know, you'll be golden. Now, we're going to keep this going and keep this moving along. And there's talks and planning, and about time, for the flooding on Pleasant Street and Stafford Square area to be fixed. However, it's probably going to cost around $36 million if we started it right now, and it still would take about 3 years. And we don't have the money right now. So the price is probably going to go up. But it's starting at $36 million. So I want you to check this out. We'll talk about it.
To address longstanding flooding issues at Stafford Plaza, Pleasant Street, and Quarry. This was adopted on July 14th of 26. All interested parties. Mr. Ferlin, good afternoon.
How's it going, councilors? Paul Ferlin, Administrator of Community Utilities for the City of Fall River.
Thank you.
So, as It's been a little
Actually,
while.
I'm just going to have,
Kevin Jacob, Project Manager, Community Utilities.
thank you, Kevin.
So I just want to, I did a PowerPoint presentation for you guys just to kind of update you. It's been a while since I've been in front of council talking about this, but we'll start off, we'll run through a little history of the square, history of what we've been doing, and then what the plan is moving forward. So, next slide. So again, just we'll go through an introduction, existing conditions, affected population, the recommended improvements, the cost estimates to date, funding, and implementation plan. So as you can see from the picture there to the left, Stafford Square has been flooding for a long period of time. This isn't something new that's come up, or anything. Does it occur more often potentially because of the intensity of the storms that we get nowadays? Yeah, that could be said, but you can see that pictures from the 1960s. So this area is Stafford Square. It's the intersection of Pleasant Street, Quarry Street, and County Street. It's the low point of a 373-acre, highly urbanized area. So that watershed stretches back as far as Easton Avenue and Locust Street all the way up to Oak Grove Cemetery. It takes sewer from beyond there, from the President Ave pump station and other areas. All that sewer comes down through that intersection as well. You have the shopping plaza to one side, as well as a supermarket on the other side. Large milk complex in the corner. Right next to it, you have Health First, a healthcare facility in the area as well. So it's a busy area. Flint, the Pleasant Street running up to Flint. That's a once a very bustling and busy economic area, and hopefully will be rebuilt into that sometime soon. There's lots of good things going on in that street, and we want to keep that moving forward. So running right through this intersection, you have what's called the White Brook tributary. That's kind of the main culvert that comes through this area. It was way back before the city was here, White Brook. It flowed down into the Quikasham River. There's multiple other culverts that also come through this intersection. A quarry drain from the quarry back up where behind where the small, I still call it the small school, but the school up over there, there was a quarry. So the quarry drain comes down through this area into the same intersection. And the area that all this drains out to is out to the Quikasham. So all this stuff was identified in many plans that we've done. So our stormwater master plan, our hazard mitigation plan, our other improvement plans that we have. So we've been looking at this for a while as well. Next slide. So again, just to kind of cover the area, if you look at that map there on the left-hand side, that blue outlined area, and I know the screen back there is a little squiggly, but the blue outlined area really gives you a sense of how big this area is and all the drainage that comes down to that one point. Highly urbanized area, very few green spots. So you think about that, you got Columbus Park, and there's not many other and Lafayette Park. Other than that, you don't really have a lot of big green spaces. Highly compact multifamilies in a lot of these streets that run through this area. So this is all, a lot of the flooding, and we've been here 1,000 times and talked about it, is undersized pipes that were put in the late 1800s, early 1900s. They served the purpose at the time for what they needed, but they don't serve the purpose for how the city has grown and built up and become. Wet weather frequencies have changed, and that overwhelms the infrastructure. Closures of the road causes service disruptions and sanitary sewer overflows that could occur. So where all this drains to, it comes down into the intersection. It actually goes underneath the strip mall plaza there, Flint Village Plaza. It's actually a channel that goes underneath the center of that building, comes out the back of that building, eventually makes its way down to the Quikasham River. From the Quikasham River, then conveys itself down to Lower Quikasham, through the 4th Street Gatehouse, down through the sluice gates down at Workout World and out either by Battleship Cove or to Firestone Mill Pond and out by the State Pier. So I put this slide in here and talked a little bit about it because it talked about in a 1915 report on the Watuppa Ponds and the Quikasham River about the Whitefield, the White Brook culvert, and it's how it's been causing some floods even back then, back in 1915, and you know it was kind of undersized. So this was talked about in this report and how it interacted with the Quikasham River and the flow of the Quikasham River out of the city. So the existing conditions, about 162 stormwater catch basins in the whole entire area, 85 combined sewer catch basins, so that goes into the combined sewer within the drainage area. There's over 70,000 linear feet of paved street within this encatchment area. You know, that's a pretty large number if you think about it for streets that are paved 24, 26, 32 feet wide that don't let a drop of water infiltrate in. The area should really have over 560 catch basins if you were to do it by today's standards to be able to capture all that water in it. So what we have is going through there is the culvert from Whitebrook. We also have the Quarry Street drain, which is a 28 by 36 stone box culvert that runs through there, has some connections into it, and the Whitebrook culvert that runs through there. So all of that right now can take up to what's called the 2-year storm. That's really what that can handle. Next slide. So existing conditions of the sewer. So we talked a little bit about the sewer before that it comes from. So you have the President Ave pump station. That's over behind Newport Creamery. That pump station actually goes, it pumps all that whole entire area, Valentine Street, everything, all that sewer eventually goes down to that pump station, including as far as Diamond, all comes back to that pump station. And that pump station then pumps up the water into a force main that goes down President Ave, goes down Oak Grove to Oak Grove, and then ties into the sewer. The sewer eventually makes its way all the way back down through the intersection at Stafford Square. So again, some of the sewers in there, early to mid 1800s, 15 inches, 24 inches. Some of them go up to 48 in some of the flat, low-lying areas. But you know, it just shows the extent of even the sewer catch basin and how much further it goes beyond just the water encatchment in this area. So I mentioned about the 2-year flood, and I wanted to put this slide in here just a little bit to show you what we do. You know, this is when we were doing the full hydraulic model and the hydraulic study of this whole entire area. This is kind of what ends up showing us. So the top left-hand side, you can see, so there's the green line, which is actually the surface, you know, ground level surface. There's a red line below that, and that's what we call the hydraulic grade line as water flows. The blue is, you know, the actual water as it comes through there. So what you really want to do is keep the red line below the green line. That means that water isn't coming up above the surface. So in the 2-year storm, the top one, you can see red line stays pretty much below the green line. On the upper part of the encatchment, there's a couple of spots, but the way the hydraulics work and the model works, it all works where it kind of stays in the pipe. If you look at the lower one, that one gets into I think that's a 10-year storm. Yeah, that's a 10-year storm on the bottom one. So that'll show you, you know, where the first red box is, moving from the right to left on there. That's the Stafford Square intersection. So in a 10-year storm, that's where the water level would rise to above the red line that's above the green line. And then as the hydraulic model goes out, the red line is above the green line, but that's typically doesn't come up to the surface in many of those areas. So let me talk a little bit. So, you know, we've gone through some studies, and I'll talk in a little bit about a lot of the work that we've already done in this area. One of the things that we've looked at is the sensitive and vulnerable populations within this area. This is something that we had to do for some of the grants that we applied for the work in this area, and some of the grants that we applied for in the area. But it's really Census Tract 6412 as well as 6413, total population of a little bit under 10,000 people. Roughly about 10% of Florida's population. Mixed commercial and residential, private homes, and there's sensitive populations within this area. High social vulnerability index, that's the rating that they have. It's a 0.75 out of 1. So a couple of the plans that we've done that have looked at this, and our plans, we always look and we start, and I say we start at 90,000 feet, and then we start coming down, and that's really where we need to get to be able to get into design. So it goes back to as far as 2011, 2013. Part of the CSO abatement plan naturally looked at this area because of the impacts that it has with the local urbanized flooding. Integrated wastewater stormwater master plan that was completed in 2016. I call that like the 90,000 foot view. Then we had a stormwater management plan program that was done in 2019. Facilities plan, Stafford Square was looked at. 21 and 22 was really where we got into the nitty gritty, started to get into it in Stafford Square. That was because of funding that was approved in November of 2017. There was a loan authorization approved. A portion of that loan authorization was to do the initial hydraulic study of the Stafford Square area. So that was funding that we ended up getting to be able to move forward with that. So that kind of started and kicked this off. From there, this was all mentioned in our hazard mitigation plans that we've done and updated. And also there was an economic development and redevelopment plan done for that area, along with, it was really the Flint, but that's kind of, a portion of the Flint area. So Stafford Square was included in that plan in 2024 as well. So just a little bit about the specifics of the plan. You can see in there the President Ave area, the Oak Grove area, the Bedford Street area, Stafford Square upstream area. This is right from the hazard mitigation plan labeled out right in there. This allows us to reach out for certain parts of funding. Without this being in this plan, it wouldn't allow us to move forward for some funding. The urban renewal plan, the city developed in 2024. It included about the drainage problems, the floodings. It was mentioned multiple times through that whole entire thing. And that plan had a lot of public outreach when that plan was developed. So that was taken in a lot of what the public was saying, a lot of what everybody in the area had to say, and implemented into that plan. So this area was definitely brought up by the public during this time. So recommendations and improvements, current issues really to control the flooding. That's what we want to do in this area. Reduce the runoff, which really includes increasing the pipe sizes. What we want to try to do is get it to the 10-year storm point where we can capture that 10-year storm. Everybody says, well, we're going to fix the flooding in this area and it's never going to flood again. I've been here, every project that we've ever done. I've said, and my predecessor always said, we're not going to guarantee that it's never going to flood again. Because, if you get the, 20-inch in 1 hour storm, there's nothing that we could build that can do that, handle that. But what we need to be able to do is handle it so it doesn't impede people's ability on a regular basis to be able to go through that area or enjoy that area. Next slide. So this is really where we are. We're about 35-40% design right now. The recommended improvements are up on the screen. So the right-hand side kind of shows you the whole entire watershed. And I know there's a lot on this slide and on the screen right now. But all the green lines really are showing the sewer. The magenta lines are showing the separated drainage in the area. The left-hand side of the screen really zooms into the areas that we need to improve on. So what we're going to be doing, what we're proposing is coming through the backside of the building. And sorry, I would be up there pointing, but the screen's too high on the wall for me to be able to reach it. I like to stand during these presentations, but so really work through the Stafford Square, the whole entire plaza. We're going to be running a large box culvert, 12 feet by 5 feet through the parking lot of the plaza there, crossing over through the backside of the old Bank America, and then going through the U-Haul parking lot over to County Street. We're going to be running separate drainage all the way up County Street to try to encapsulate a lot of that water before it gets down to the intersection. We're then going to head up North Rockcliffe Street, and with new drainage culverts all the way up and through into Bedford Street. What we really need to do is get further out into the system, capture this water into this separated drainage pipe, and convey it down and through the intersection so that it's not draining down to the intersection and not overwhelming the existing culverts within the intersection. So we saw the hydraulic grade lines prior. These are the hydraulic grade lines after the improvement. So you can see on the 2-year storm and the 10-year storm, the red line's well below the green line. So this is what's proposed as of now. So recommended sewer improvements, again, CSOs is always something that we always talk about in Fall River because we're working so hard to reduce the amount of CSO discharge that we have. This project isn't necessarily a CSO project, but any storm water that we can get out of the combined system helps us further down the line. So to say that this is a CSO project, strictly CSO, no, but getting all of this additional stormwater, separating a lot of the catch basins that go into the combined sewer, pulling out of that combined sewer, putting it into the drain lines will be a benefit for the CSOs overall. One of the things that we like to do, and we're going to plan on doing on this project, is include green infrastructure into this project. This is one thing that is definitely, something that's more prevalent now, to be able to use green spaces that will be able to have plants that use the water and clean the water before it goes into the stormwater system and then eventually is discharged into the environment. It's a very tough area to incorporate a lot of this green infrastructure because of the urbanized city. So there's different ways that we've been able to modify some of these green infrastructures to be able to work in the city. Like when on South Main Street near Middle Street, we have tree box filters that run that area. Or Middle Street running down next to the park, we have the bioretention area over there. Some people think that, those are all weeds growing in the middle, but those are specially designed plants to be able to absorb and use the water rather than have it go into the drainage system and help clean and filter the water as well. So the cost estimate as it stands for this project, as I said, we're about 35-40% design right now. The estimate is $36 million. Almost $37 million for the whole entire project. So that's construction. So as it stands right now, we are fully funded for design. So we were able to we got authorized some money from ARPA, from the council, Bristol County ARPA funds that we were able to use to start the design process. And then we were issued a grant through the Mass Works program to bring it up to 100% design. So when we're done in about 8 months, we'll have 100% bid-ready documents ready to go for this whole entire project. Just go back for 1 second. So just a little bit on this slide as well. This is really going to open up, different areas for people to be able to develop, I think, through this corridor in this area. One of the things for one of the grants that we applied for, we need to do a cost-benefit analysis based on FEMA's cost-benefit. So if you look at that bottom of there, so when we did the cost-benefit analysis, you need to be above a 1. We were at a 1.7. So that's saying it's going to generate and help over $62 million worth of improvements for this area for the $36 million investment. So where we're looking for the funding right now, and I just sat here and told you guys that we need $36 million, but I know we're not going to get $36 million to go into Stafford Square and do this project. I'm not going to be able to get it from my ratepayers, without, I don't even want to go. So we're tracking down every lead to try to be able to get this funding. The FEMA Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Program, the BRIC program. This is a program that was came out probably about 6 or 7 years ago. There was a couple of rounds of funding that went out. It is through FEMA, so we apply to MEMA, a local mitigation agency. They take that and if they approve our project, then they send it to FEMA. So we applied for BRIC funding. I believe it was 3 or 4 years ago. We put in an application. It went to FEMA. It wasn't chosen. It's a national program, so there's a lot of competition out there. It wasn't chosen, but we got some good feedback from that one. We put it out. We applied for it a second time. That second time was right when there was a lot of budget cuts that were happening in the federal government, and this program was one of the ones that was cut at that time. This program did just come back out about 4 or 5 months ago. We put together a full application again. We submitted that application. I think last week we just worked with MEMA to finalize, make sure everything was good with the application, and they're going to be submitting it to FEMA. So that's one of the areas that we have. MassWorks is another one that we have. If we go through the FEMA process and we get federal funding, they want you to be able to do the whole entire project. They're not going to pay for just a portion of the project. So they won't pay for us to do, phase one or phase, they want the whole entire thing fixed. They don't want part of it fixed. But when you get into some of the other funding sources like MassWorks funding, we've designed this project where we potentially can break it up into some smaller phases. So whether it be MassWorks or whether we do it in authorization, small steps, take small bites out of it and be able to move forward. We will have the flexibility as we design this project to be able to do that as well. But again, so MassWorks is always a great option. And then we also have the Clean Water Revolving Fund, but then again, that requires an authorization, that's a loan. So just running through some of the funding that we have applied for. The BRIC program, we applied June of 26. Anticipated hopeful award would be winter of 26 into 27. The MassWorks, again, we did apply this year, again, for a smaller portion of the project. We'll see how that pans out on the MassWorks scale. We did put in there's going to be, whether it be a BRIC or whether it be a MassWorks, there is going to be a match that will be required, whether it be 10% or 20% of whatever we're funded. So we did put in a application for the state revolving fund to be able to use their low interest loan program for that match if we are approved, and we do need a match. So we'll be ready with that if needed. And that's kind of my basic presentation, kind of where we've been, what we've been working on, and what we're looking for the future.
I appreciate it, Mr. Ferland. Thank you, Councilor Campbell.
Thank you. Thank you for the history. That was quite insightful. So it looks like we've had about 7 studies over the last 15 years as I saw it.
Yep.
You said that we're 8 months away from the current study being complete, the design phase specifically.
Correct.
So I guess my question would be, first, once we go out to bid, from the time the bid is awarded, how long would it take to actually be for people to see an improvement?
Well, so we'll have bid ready documents.
Okay.
We can't go out to bid till we have funding in place. If tomorrow BRIC came in and said, here's your money, go do it, we're looking at about a 3-year construction project.
All right. So if BRIC gave the money today, it'd be a 3
year construction project. However, he knows that we're not getting the 36 million right now. However, it's designed. But I didn't know that the power station pump behind Newport Creamery went all the way down to Oak Grove Cemetery, and then Oak Grove Cemetery crossed Bedford and went all the way over to Pleasant Street and Stafford Square before it went down towards the waterfront and behind Workout World. That's a big project that they would have to work on that would not only affect Pleasant Street, but Bedford Street, County Street, Oak Grove Ave, and all the side streets in between. So is this something that we can find funding for? Or is it something that we're going to deal with for another 50 years at Stafford Square? Who knows? But with all that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in today. It means the world. I appreciate you. And if you haven't already, please share this out to your news feed. Share this to groups. Tag people in the post. Tag people in the comment section. It is highly appreciated. I'm going to get these clips all edited up for you guys to share out. Make sure you do that just like you shared this podcast. And I will be back Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Forever Experience. But this Sunday at 11 a.m., I will be on the Sundays podcast. I will be streaming live here. And that is a geopolitical podcast with myself, It's Your Boy Fifth, and Paulie Styles. And then Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be back with It's Your Boy Fifth for the Hip Hop Everything podcast, and we're inching closer to 100 episodes. So, everybody, tune in, follow, subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you don't miss a thing. Everybody, if you haven't already, share this out. Put at followers, at highlight. Again, highly appreciated. And on the music tip, I just dropped a brand new song called Simon Says. It's available on all platforms. All you have to do is type in Aaron All Nighter, Simon Says, on whatever app you listen to music. And there it is. Put it in your playlist, add it to your rotation, and follow my music profiles, as well as you follow my podcasts. Guys, be good, be safe, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, treat each other with love, dignity, respect, and all that. You already know what it is. It's your boy, Aaron All Nighter. Forever, you know, I'm off this. Peace. All Nighter. Street magic, chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Need y'all to take a ride with me. I'm just a kid from Forever, what I know. Riding through my city that they're gentrifying, market rate housing while there's homeless dying. And I know that they're trying cause this program's out there, but I ain't reaching out there. They ain't reaching out there. Empty storefronts, internet to blame. Gotta move different if nothing is the same. Entertainment venues, bringing nightlife. Transparent police, body cams that's live. I mean live stream they whole shift. Personal info can censor it. Even though when involving police it becomes public info. But that's a different topic for a different tempo. Back to my city that they're gentrifying. Panhandlers on the Ave and the addicts dying. Parents crying, losing kids. Half my generation that are doing bids. So how are we gonna get to the youth? Teach them right and wrong when not to shoot. Started young in kindergarten. Mental health class, your brain's a garden. Teach them all about their feelings. Till senior year, let's start the healing. Since tech's here to stay, let's teach with VR. Less bills that way. But what do I know? What can I say? I'm just a kid from Forever.
It's just my observations. Chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Soul Nighter. All nighter. Street magic. Chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Need y'all to take a ride with me. I'm just a kid from Fall River, what I know. Riding through my city that they're gentrifying. Market rate housing while there's homeless dying. And I know that they're trying cause this program's out there. But I ain't reaching out there. They ain't reaching out there. Empty storefronts, internet to blame. Gotta move different if nothing is the same. Entertainment venues, bringing nightlife. Transparent police, body cams that's live. I mean live stream they whole shift. Personal info can censor it. Even though when involving police it becomes public info. But that's a different topic for a different tempo. Back to my city that they're gentrifying. Panhandlers on the Ave and the addicts dying. Parents crying, losing kids. Half my generation that are doing bids. So how are we gonna get to the youth? Teach them right and wrong when not to shoot. Started young in kindergarten. Mental health class, your brain's a garden. Teach them all about their feelings. The senior year, let's start the healing. Since tech's here to stay, let's teach with VR. Less bills that way. But what do I know? What can I say? I'm just a kid from Fall River. It's just my observations. Chopped in silence. Kelly Azul on the beat. Soul Nighter.